know if that's guilty.
The silence is over. Keith Urban finally breaks his hush on that headline splash split from Nicole Kidman. 19 years, 2 kids, a red carpet fairy tale turned therapy session. Imagine it. The man who once strummed about forever, now standing beneath stadium lights, singing to thousands yet sounding heartbreakingly solo. In a pre-recorded confession dropped just weeks post-divorce, Keith spills the tea. Life on tour isn't glamorous. It's gut-wrenching. He's lonely.
He's drained.
He misses the people he knew before he became Family Guy Keith. Court papers reveal him waking at 3 a.m. on a tour bus, sick, empty, completely detached from the dream he sold. 19 years, 2 daughters, 1 global illusion. Somewhere between the award shows and the jet lag, that perfect love story silently flatlined. And when Keith dared to call their marriage a job on live TV, fans didn't just gasp, they grieved. This wasn't a breakup. It was a breakdown of devotion tested by addiction, worn down by fame, and finished off by miles of emotional distance. Keep your eyes glued. This saga didn't start with heartbreak. It began back in 2005 at the glittering Good Day USA Gala, where Hollywood and Australia flirted over champagne. Nicole, the freshly divorced Oscar darling, was still patching up her heart. Keith, the magnetic country boy, was charming without trying. They met, they smiled, they talked, and the room swore it witnessed destiny ignite. But here's the kicker. Keith Urban ghosted Nicole Kidman. Not for a few awkward days. Not for a couple of weeks. For 4 entire months. The poor woman thought he'd just vanished into cowboy oblivion. But those confidential documents say otherwise. Keith wasn't disinterested. He was terrified. Terrified of wrecking something that actually felt too good to be true. When he finally found the nerve to dial her number, the story flipped. By 2006, the two were practically glued together, and that June, beneath a Sydney sky shimmering with candlelight and whispers, they said, "I do." No flashing paparazzi, no million-dollar production, just quiet, pure emotion. Reports say Nicole wept as Keith held her hand like he'd never let go. Fans crowned them the real-life country fairy tale, and for a while, it looked like they'd actually beaten the Hollywood curse. And then came the plot twist no one saw coming. For months post-wedding, the sparkle dimmed. Sources say Nicole started noticing cracks. Keith was withdrawn, restless, almost unreachable. The truth hit hard. He wasn't just tired. He was battling addiction. And this time, it wasn't gossip column fluff. It was painfully real. Most people would have bolted, but not Nicole Kidman. She chose to fight. One night, surrounded by loved ones, she staged a secret intervention. No cameras, no PR, just tears and truth. She begged him to get help. And to his credit, Keith listened. Rehab followed, 3 brutal months apart. When he walked out, he told reporters it was the hardest but best thing he'd ever done. That moment rewired their marriage, from red carpet perfection to raw survival. They emerged stronger, or at least that's what everyone knows. Most people miss this chapter, the calm after the chaos. In 2008, healing finally arrived wrapped in a pink blanket named Sunday Rose. As per the documents, Nicole Kidman called her a gift, her miracle. Keith Urban became the doting dad, catching flights across continents just to be there for every ultrasound. When Sunday was born, the noise quieted. Their world finally felt soft again. Then in 2010 came another miracle, Faith Margaret, born via surrogate. The couple built their nest in Nashville, miles from Hollywood flashbulbs, letting their daughters grow up with muddy boots and country melodies. From the outside, it looked perfect. Addiction beaten, distance conquered, doubts buried. But Hollywood fairy tales always come with sequels, and not the happy kind. In 2014, heartbreak returned. Dr. Anthony Kidman, Nicole's beloved father, passed unexpectedly. Sources say the loss shattered her. Keith dropped everything, tour, shows, contracts, and flew straight to Sydney. At the funeral, reports claim he stood before mourners, guitar trembling, and sang Amazing Grace. His voice cracked, his eyes glistened, and when he looked at Nicole, It wasn't as a celebrity, it was as a man holding his wife through grief. People whispered, "That's real love." For years, they were the blueprint, the Hollywood couple that made it. Keith once said, "She's my safe place." Nicole called him my soulmate. But even the prettiest stories fade, not with explosions, but with silence. By 2024, that silence got louder. The documents note fewer red carpets, longer solo trips. She was in Europe filming back-to-back projects. He was touring alone. Fans felt the chill. Then came the whispers. Keith had reportedly set up a separate Nashville home. For work, some said. Others weren't so sure. Then, during an Entertainment Weekly chat, Nicole sighed. "You think you know where your life is going, and then it isn't." The world froze. And before anyone could breathe, she appeared on The Amanda Keller Show, where her silence spoke louder than any headline ever could. When asked if he believed fate had brought them together, the documents reveal Keith Urban froze, just long enough for the silence to sting, before muttering, "No idea." Awkward? Absolutely. He fidgeted, dodged the question, and boom, the internet went nuclear. Gone was the man who once shouted, "I'm madly in love." Enter the version who suddenly looked over it. Then came Ryan Seacrest, ready with a question that sliced through the room. "How do you keep a marriage strong after all these years?" According to the report, Keith smiled, but not that dreamy, in-love smile. This one looked tired. He said, "It's a job." Just 3 words, but they landed like a confession. And here's the bombshell no one saw coming. On September 30th, according to linked reports, Nicole Kidman filed for divorce in Nashville, officially ending their 19-year marriage. Their last public photo, taken earlier that month, showed perfect smiles masking visible strain. Fans knew something was off. When Keith later faced a follow-up interview, the documents say he didn't defend, deny, or even explain. He simply smiled and said, "Life's in session." Translation? He's done fighting. He's moving on. Meanwhile, Nicole's silence is deafening. Her last public words about Keith months ago. "He's my deep, deep love." Now those words sound like an unintentional farewell. The couple who once lived their romance out loud now says everything by saying nothing. And here's where the heartbreak meets the hustle. Sources linked to the documents confirm Keith's new reality competition show, The Road, premieres October 19th. And guess what? In the very first pre-split episode, Keith gets raw. The Daily Mail quotes him describing tour life as lonely and miserable. His exact words, "You wake up on a bus at 3:30 a.m., sick as a dog, stranded in nowhere." And just like that, the curtain lifted on the man behind the music. To play her 5th show later that night, no sleep, no family, no peace, just neon lights and noise. He said, "You wake up on a tour bus at 3:30 a.m., sick, lonely, missing your friends, missing your family, and you ask yourself, why am I doing this?" Then came the line that melted sympathy into shock, "Because this is what I was born to do." But here's the kicker. According to the report, he listed friends before family. Not exactly what you'd expect from a heartbroken husband. And just when you thought it couldn't get messier, the whispers began. Reports linked in the documents claim Keith Urban was getting a little too close to his 25-year-old guitarist Maggie Ba at his September 25th show in Chicago. The linked article says Keith performed his once romantic anthem, The Fighter, originally written for Nicole Kidman, but this time, he swapped the lyric, "When they're trying to get to you. Baby, I'll be the fighter," for "When they're trying to get to you. Maggie, I'll be your guitar player." That one-word change broke the internet. Then came Maggie's cryptic move, a black square on Instagram captioned, "Announcement coming soon." Days later, a teaser dropped for her new song, reportedly about fighting unwanted feelings. A coincidence? Please. According to a Daily Mail source, Nicole is blindsided by the split, but instead of crumbling, she's rebuilding. In her Harper's Bazaar interview, she admitted feeling broken yet determined to heal, saying, "No matter how painful or devastating something is, there's always a way through." Now she's focused on peace, her daughters, and life beyond the spotlight. At Paris Fashion Week, she glided through the crowd, calm, Radiant, untouchable, a woman reborn. Meanwhile, Keith stays silent. No denial, no defense. Just that eerie calm that could mean either guilt or grace. The internet's divided. Some call it maturity, others call it regret. Because for nearly 2 decades, they made us believe in forever. And now, forever feels fractured. Sometimes love doesn't end with betrayal. It ends with silence. So tell me, was Keith's silence closure? Or the confession he'll never say out loud? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe, because tomorrow, we're peeling back another Hollywood love story that'll leave you stunned.